From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, the Renegade Express mailbag. Lots of questions about the future, looking back at spring, and a little bit in between. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com is the website. 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Great food, great ice-cold beverages, and just good times all around. Darts, billiards, trivia, bingo. You name it, they've got it. Live music at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. You can always hit that QR code on your screen with your phone. It takes you right to the website. You can check out what's going on over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Won't you hit the thumbs up? Maybe leave a 5-star rating and review if you're listening on an Apple device. Hit the one on the right. Subscribe to that one. And they should check out Warchant.com because of the columns that Corey Clark writes, but also our own Irish O'Fell. Answering the age-old question about how many guys are on scholarship, Corey. I'm not gonna spill the beans. Not giving that milk away for free. You're gonna have to pay for the cow on that one, kids.
Nice.
But there's a video out there with he and Tom. Maybe they leak some of the details on that, but I didn't know, and I've always meant to go back and count it all up, Corey, but I did not. But Ira did it for all of us, so go check it out over at warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. How are you, Corey?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. How are you doing?
Great, man. Great. Thanks for asking, man. How'd headlines go? Strong? Quite strong?
We did it. We nailed it, as always. Ira, actually, if you watch the very end of it, we were just talking about how we used to bleep out words and things we would say at the old show when we didn't do it live. We had that luxury that if we said something inappropriate or cussed, had a curse word in there, we could bleep it out. And then Ira proceeds with, 30 seconds left in the show to curse.
Oh, no, Ira.
So, yeah, I don't know if – so on the podcast, it probably won't be bleeped out because who cares? I don't know if we went back in and bleeped it out on the YouTube feed. But, yeah, come on, iDog.
Well, he was stressed out. All those numbers and everything. He could vent.
Well, that's true. That's right.
All right, let's get to the mailbag, shall we? Lots of good questions, Corey. We start with Dalvinism. He's first in. We'll get him first out. Wake up! Off-season hypothetical. If FSU has the sort of success we all think they will, would it be likely that Mike Norvell's name will be involved in the next major college football head coach opening? Do you think FSU's in a better position to fend off an A&M-sized bag being dropped to take away our head coach? And if worst case that does happen, would Alex Atkins be your betting favorite to be the next FSU head coach?
Yes, on the second part.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think. Look, if they have the kind of year that this would include, which I assume we're talking about 11 or 12 wins, and at least an ACC championship, maybe a playoff berth, maybe a national championship, then yes, the offensive coordinator for that team, the guy that's done the turnaround for the one of the biggest turnarounds in position group history, I would think he'd be on a short list to be the new head coach.
Not
and
the
you don't lose
favorite
him.
though. Not the he's on the
I don't
list,
know
but
who would be Dion.
I don't know, man. Can you replace what you just went through with a first-time head coach after kind of?
I think a guy that's been here 4 years. Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's, you know what I mean. Like he's got his feet here now. Like he's firmly implanted in Tallahassee. So he'd be my betting favorite. That said, with the Norvell angle, look, man, what is he making? What do we $8 million? Something like that. I mean, he's making a lot of money. This is just the reality of the sport. That if they have a really good season and like for whatever reason Michigan comes open or Tennessee, maybe Arkansas. Isn't he from Arkansas? Or is he from Texas?
He's from Texas. His wife's from Arkansas. He played at Arkansas. It
So
will
Texas,
average of $8.05 million.
Okay, so you maybe I'm sure one of those schools could get him to 10. And then you really have to think about it. But, man, I don't know. Yes, I think it is something to worry about, not just with other big-time college football programs that are going to have more money than you, but also the NFL if he wants to go that route. And I'm talking about I'm not predicting that. I'm saying if he has a really good season or maybe two really good seasons in the next 3 years, I think the NFL might be something that they might be interested in. Although I would think the NFL is kind of veering away from dipping into the college ranks. It hasn't worked out here lately.
Okay.
Matt Rule.
Cliff Kingsbury was a failed college head coach. I don't know what we were expecting there. But
Well, right, but Matt Rule
wasn't. Yeah.
And I feel like there was another one recently that was just ended up being
Urban Meyer
debacle. Yeah, there you go. Right. So it hasn't worked out real well. So maybe they've cooled off on college coaches. So, but I do think you would be right to probably worry. One of the big SEC schools might come and throw them a boatload of money that you maybe can't compete with.
Yeah, the Jimbo thing, I don't know how much of the pie chart was money. It was part of the pie chart. I just don't think it was a sizable part of it. He's respected and gets everything he wants around here right now, Mike Norvell, so I'm not worried about him being – it would have to be an insane amount of money. Not to say an SEC team wouldn't do that, but it would have to be something astronomical, I think, for him to walk away from what he built here. He pretty much gets carte blanche for what he wants. And the second part of the question about it is Florida State in better position to fend off these schools? Like, we got scared straight. So we saw what happens when we don't hold on to whatever an okay coach. Can we just call Jimbo an okay coach?
Well, though, we need to move on with the show. He left. They didn't not hold on to him. He left because he wanted to go where he had all the bells and whistles, and it's really paid off over there in College Station. He's killing it.
Ira Brofell, I want to ask a question about Travis Jay, how he looked this spring, just for old time's sake. Do you think he'll start?
Yeah.
If you didn't know, he was a 5-star.
We joked on Seminole headlines that for the top 40 list, Jeff's still going to include him in it, just out of habit, just like at 37, somewhere in there, a wild card.
Emeritus.
I thought Travis looked pretty good when he was out there. Honestly, I mean, I know that was a sarcastic question, but it's especially. It's a bizarre move, man. He was going to play. I think he really was going to play. I don't know what he's looking to get out of his last college year, but the team that hung by you while you were essentially ineligible for 2 years, I thought he would have. He stuck through it. So I'd have thought if he'd have stuck through it and then went through the spring and then realizes, oh man, I'm number one up on the depth chart. If one of the starting safeties gets hurt, so I thought that would have been appealing enough to keep him.
Outside of guys that emerge in the spring like Kentron Vandravius, Quindarius Jones, who's a player that could surprise us all this fall? I'm thinking back about Johnny Wilson and some of the cautious optimism of the media to believe that he had wide receiver 1 ability. Who is your pick for a guy that was relatively quiet in the spring or maybe just inconsistent that you think can play beyond fan or media expectations? You guys are the best. Thanks for always bringing us content even in the offseason. You're welcome, Ira Brofell. Thank you. That was very nice of you. I don't know, man. I think we all have either really high expectations on guys that I think are going to hit it pretty well this season, and I think we're pretty tepid on the guys that might not. I mean, Quindarius is one of the guys that's in there. Like, I almost want to say Fentrell Cypress, but I know the fans have really high expectations. Like, I did too, but he had a very quiet spring. He did not look particularly fast or physical to me. But again, he has the credentials. He's done it, so he could certainly play beyond the expectations I have for him right now as we sit here and talk, Corey.
Yeah. By the way, I'm wonderful at this. The technology. I muted myself. I thought I muted myself to cough. I actually unmuted myself to clear my throat in all of your ears. And then when I was trying to answer the question, that's when I was muted. So I'm crushing it. I got
to get in there. That was awesome. Do it again.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, man, there's not really anybody that comes, maybe Ja'Kai Douglas, somebody that he's going to make a couple of big plays for you, I think. Maybe Winston Wright. We talked about him on headlines a good bit too, how, he is a much more accomplished wide receiver than Micah Pittman. And if he's the guy that he was in 2021, if he could be the guy he was at West Virginia, well, that's a huge portal get. That's like going into the portal and getting a top 10 wide receiver out of the portal. 120 catches, all that production at West Virginia in a real conference, at a real program. So that's the guy that maybe we're not thinking a lot about. That could have, maybe he has a 40-catch season. And we're just not talking about him a lot because he was so, limited in the spring. Yeah. We didn't see him do a lot. We saw him out there, which was the most important thing. But we didn't see him necessarily do a lot in team stuff. But maybe when August comes around, if he's full speed and full go, we'll get a real understanding of what kind of player he is.
JCC 1213, Corey, congrats on the engagement.
Hey, thanks, JCC 1213.
Give my wife a call at Live the Life. She will get you guys set up with the best premarital program in Tallahassee.
What does that mean?
Oh, it just gives you the tools to succeed in a marriage or something.
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
all right,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
He
I didn't
said-
know if it was like for a wedding, like getting ready for a wedding or something.
Right.
Or okay.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I'll Google it, maybe. Seriously, the longest running thread on this forum is the realignment thread posted by Regal Knoll. When are you guys going to bring him on the show? Make sure you protect his identity. Have him sit in a dark corner wearing a hat with sunglasses and a voice modulator. Ira pointed this out. That thread is over 800,000 views.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring on the big dog if we hit a million.
Well, when if it gets to 1 million, we'll bring him on. We have to verify that it's him somehow, but we will bring him on if it gets to 1 million views.
Yeah. Somebody asked us too later on here about if we have any updates on that. I haven't heard any rumblings about realignment, leaving the ACC here in a minute. So trust me, any crumb we get on that will be blared over a megaphone to you folks.
Correct.
But yeah, right now, no news, no developments that we're seeing. But check out that thread over on warchant.com if you're a member. It's one of the perks, everybody.
Yep.
Join.
Yep.
Island Chief, wake up! Interesting spring. More questions remain to be answered. Here's mine. 4th and 1 this season. Which side of the ball for the Noles will be more effective? Offense. Yeah, I mean, it's anybody, right?
Well, yeah, the offense is going to pick up a yard more often than the defense stops you for getting 1 yard. But, if it's 4th and 1 and teams try to run up the gut on your collection of defensive tackles that, still includes Josh Farmer,
Right.
that's a tough. That might be a tough task. It's a good question.
How many games will we win the line of scrimmage? Thanks for the great content. It makes it hard to come up with questions as you guys answer everything before it's asked.
Hey, thanks. We try. I would say, who are you worried about? I mean, I guess the LSU and Clemson.
In LSU's offensive line, they might have 5 guys they like, but that's about it. Their second line offensive line had converts from the defensive line playing on that side, walk-ons. And their defensive line, man, Mason Smith, he blew his knee out in the opener last year. They said that he was looking good for spring, and there was no reason to rush him along, and he'll be good when they have preseason camp. But we'll see how confident he is on a fresh leg. B.J. Ojolari's gone. Ali Gay's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of a reload. I mean, they can talk about they went and got an edge rusher from Texas. They got a couple guys in the portal, but no one of like Jared Versa's stature. So even that one might be a bit of a stretch. And listen, Clemson lost all their dudes, and they didn't get drafted that high, a lot of those guys. Man, KJ Henry was talked about as being like a top 15 pick going into last year, I feel like, and he didn't go until Sunday, I think. Well,
that would mean he wasn't drafted then, right? Because the draft ended on Saturday.
Did I say Sunday? I meant the third day,
did.
the last day.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll never get over the fact that football, NFL, which is on Sundays, just decided not to do their draft on Sundays anymore.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Hey.
Who am I?
Yeah. Who are you? Who are you to complain? I would say the one. Yeah, I would think LSU might have the manpower to stay with you, but you're going to be better on both lines of scrimmage. I mean, you just are. If you're healthy, the offensive line is better, deeper. And the defensive line is better and deeper, so especially in the middle. So, and I kind of thought they won the line of scrimmage. They certainly didn't lose the line of scrimmage against LSU last year.
No.
Like LSU's running game was Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
It was not just traditional running at all. They couldn't do anything, and he was having to scramble a lot and throw the ball away a lot. So, I kind of thought you won the line of scrimmage against them. I would say Clemson's the only team that you didn't last year. Maybe Florida, and look, man, that has a lot to do with Lovett being hurt, and Verse was hurt for a little while. Cooper was hurt the whole year. Yeah. If you're healthy-ish, I think you could predict that you're going to win the line of scrimmage in every game.
Right. However, though, like winning the line of scrimmage, I'm not necessarily saying they're going to dominate. Like
right.
You're
not going to get pushed around.
Yeah. So listen, they lose to LSU 38-35. And you're like, hey, you guys were talking about they were going to win the line of scrimmage. It's like, well, maybe they did by and large, but maybe they just didn't make one extra play that LSU was able to. So don't get on us for that. Don't put that in a time capsule. Don't save that receipt, kids. All right, let's bundle these two together. Question about the future, the real distant future, which is wild to me, Corey. Like, you folks listening to this, your favorite team is poised for a really good year, but you guys are already looking ahead to 2024. We'll go with our guy, DB Chief, as well as Jody Highroller. DB Chief says, wake up, gentlemen. Thanks for keeping us informed. Jody High Roller says, wake up. The portal window has been cheeks, which is not great. Tate's had one good half of football his whole career. Thanks for that, Tate. However, every other time he's played in a game, it's been gross. Are you comfortable he's the guy next year in Ireland? And that's pretty much what DB Chief says as well. With Glenn on campus already seemingly impressing and Chrome and Hawk coming next year, what are the chances that both Tate and Duffy are gone before the 24 kickoff in Dublin? Both? That's unlikely, I would say. To Jody's question, am I comfortable with Tate in Ireland? It's Georgia Tech. But I know you're talking about like bigger picture, like that's your starting quarterback for the entire year. Is that Georgia or Alabama? Do we start them in 24 or is 25 the first time we start playing those?
I thought that was 20. I thought it was 26, but it might be 25.
Okay, so it's
who
not
knows?
24. Good.
And that's if those games happen.
All right.
Because the SEC is probably going to want to play more conference games. Look, no, I think there's a chance that you're hitting the portal. I think this is a very big year for both of those aforementioned quarterbacks. I think that they need to prove something. Tate didn't get a lot of time after the Louisville game. I just looked up his numbers real quick. He was, it was all mop-up duty. But, he was 3 for 3 against BC. He was 3 for 4 against Miami. He was 3 for 7 against Syracuse. For how many yards did he have? Where are the yards? Oh, 33. And then he was 1 of 1 against ULL. So he was okay after the Louisville game. He just didn't get a lot of reps or a lot of at-bats. So we do not know what he is in a game. We just don't. You don't know if he can handle the starter. And you certainly don't know it about Duffy. So, yeah, Brock Glenn was impressive enough to think that he would be in the running to maybe get a spot next year. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I certainly don't think Rodemaker is absolutely rubber stamped as the starter in 2024.
Yeah,
he's got to prove it this year.
I mean, the quarterback market wasn't nearly as, enticing, or I don't know the right word, but like Sam Hartman was it for real, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any other really big name quarterbacks have moved away. So I don't know how much of that's becoming part of the NIL deal now, where like they're going to make sure they lock down their starting quarterback. So, or do you want to poach the backup quarterback?
What about the kid from that went to Ohio State and then went to Texas?
Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, where is he?
He's still at Texas. I think he's actually in the lead over Arch Manning
really?
right now.
How about that? Okay, all right. Because one of them's going to leave, right? That kid's only a freshman or a sophomore.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think he's so. Maybe next year. People always talk about the draft, the draft quarterbacks next year. You know how people are talking about Caleb Williams and these teams looking ahead to Drake May and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Maybe other teams are positioning themselves for Quinn Ewers when Arch Manning gets the job, or maybe other high-profile quarterback races, knowing that whoever doesn't win the job will be on the market. But the truth is, you're probably going to need one of your own guys to hit it big.
Yeah.
You're going to need one of your own guys to be a star. It's just hard to predict that you can go in the transfer portal. You can go get a Graham Mertz, man. You can go get a player. You can go get a Hornswoggle, or an Everett Golson. Can you go get a star? It's not real likely. So you hope one of these quarterback recruits really works out. And right now, yeah, it is certainly up in the air whether Rodemaker or Duffy can be that guy for you.
And it's going to be a gamble. I mean, you'll see the kid's huddle film from practice, but if he hasn't played in a lot of games, then you're pretty much just saying, all right, we don't trust. And what don't you trust Tate about? Like, Tate's got good arm strength. He's got good athleticism. It would be his decision-making. Well, then you're going and recruiting another kid from another program who hasn't been in your system, not say on a hunch, but you're going to kind of assume that, all right, we think he's going to be able to understand our concepts better, get the ball out of his hands better, make better decisions. But then again, based off practice footage, if he hasn't played in games, unless you're going to be able to come over the top and seal a quarterback like a Quinn Ewers or a Arch Manning. So who knows? People want to talk about hoops, Corey. Here we go. Let's go back to back. VCal 5 with Primo Spears at point guard. Who is out, Worley or Jackson?
That's a good question. I liked Jackson. My instinct would be that it's Worley. Because I don't think you're going to rotate 3 point guards, and I can't see either one of those guys. I mean, I know basketball is becoming almost positionless, but maybe Jackson becomes like a shooting guard and Worley's your backup point guard. I guess you could do that. I mean, I think Jackson has a nice touch. He looked like he would be a capable shooter, and he'd have a full year of health, which would help. But I would not take minutes away from Chandler Jackson to give him to Jalen Worley. I guess that's my most polite way to say that. So I would think Worley is the guy that might be the odd man out.
Jackson shot 37% from behind the arc. Jalen shot 32%. But Worley was 49% from the field, and Jackson was 40%. For whatever
What about
it's worth.
free throw? What about free throw line, though?
Free throw line, Chandler Jackson, 76%. Worley, 67%.
Yeah, I mean, he just can't shoot. I mean, we've seen the shot, right? We've all seen it. Worley is not a shooter. I don't even know how many attempts he had from three, but even 32
He had 31 in 32 games played. Jackson had 32 in 29 games played. He only started one, Chandler Jackson. I mean, he played 12 minutes a game, and he had 32 attempts from behind the arc, Chandler Jackson. Jalen Worley played nearly 28 minutes per game and had 31.
Yeah, so the volume is obviously much more there. Is going to be more there with Chandler, and I think he's a nice shooter. And the free throws to me mean a lot. I've always thought a guy that's a bad 3-point shooter but can shoot free throws at a pretty good clip, like Chandler Jackson could. That tells you that there's some touch in there, and there's an ability to become a better shooter. And look, man, 37% is nothing to sneeze at. It's just not a ton of. It's a small sample size. But yeah, I think Jackson Worley's probably a better defender. Should be a better rebounder. He's a pretty good athlete, but it just the first 2 years have left you wanting a lot more. So I would think it would be Primo and Jackson getting the majority of the minutes in the backcourt.
SR5, I love Leonard. I trust his decision making, but when he chooses to retire, is Sam Cassell a head coach in waiting?
No, because I just think Sam Cassell wants to be an NBA head coach. He's been on those benches for a decade now. He's been one of Doc Rivers' right-hand men. I think he's still with the – is he still with the Sixers, Cassell? Is he still with Doc Rivers, or is he somewhere else? I can never remember. I know Doc liked him. So
he's with the Sixers. Yep.
So I think, if the Sixers end up having a good playoff run here – by the way, how about that? We called that, didn't we, dog?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We nailed that. Guys, you got to listen to us in our NBA bets. It's crazy. We're on like an 80% hit rate. But I would think he's trying to eye an NBA job. He's always struck me more as a NBA guy than a college guy. But he's been in the NBA for a good while now, and maybe he's not any closer to getting one of those jobs. So maybe his best chance of getting an NBA job is to go prove he can run a college program for 2 or 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I would certainly, I guess to sum it up like this. No, he's not the head coach in waiting. No, I wouldn't even expect him to get the job or expect him to take the job. I would certainly expect him to be offered the job. I would offer Sam Cassell the job and make him turn it down. But he might because he wants to be an NBA head coach.
He's getting a phone call at minimum. Yeah, like to your point.
Absolutely, right? Yeah.
At minimum, you'll get 7 hours of energy from Vitamin Energy when you take a shot. It's not even 2 ounces, 7 hours or more. Do the math. Incredible value there if we're doing sabermetrics on our Vitamin Energy. Corey, I finally opened up the sour apple.
Yeah.
You were right. I
told you.
Yeah. I hate to make it sound like I don't trust you, but
you did.
But, you were right. Vitamin Energy Workout Plus, energize up to 7+ hours, packed with vitamins, gets you your pump, gets you ready to go for your workouts. Go to the website, vitaminenergy.com. Use the promo code WARCHANT BOGO, BOGO, and that will get you an item of equal or lesser value for absolutely free. So you can try the sour apple. You can try the berry flavored. You can try the tango orange. You can try the mango flavor. You can try the tropical berry. I mean, it's incredible the amount of options out there for you folks. No matter what you want to get better at when it comes to getting your focus, your energy levels, your immunity, it's there at vitaminenergy.com. Use the promo code WARCHANT, BOGO. Let's our Florida State fans over there at Vitamin Energy know you're listening to the pod. Back at it, Corey. Noel Boyo 2, wake up. Who was the most surprising player that transferred? I would say Micah Pittman. He seemed to be close with everyone and was a locker room leader. What about y'all?
Yeah, that's the answer. For a variety of reasons. He seemed to be, he seemed to like it here. He seemed to have a lot of friends here. They liked him, and he was a part of the offense. And then also coming off of hip surgery, all the layers to it it made it odd for him to leave. That to me is the most surprising one.
Just to be contrarian, so we don't always agree on everything. What about Travis Jay, though? Because as you said at the top of the show, I mean, he was in line to play for sure. I mean, Micah's got the hip injury that he's coming off of. That room has got guys that have similar maybe skill sets. Jakai and Winston are comparable.
Right.
But, man, like, other than the Eames, like, you're up, Travis, and you're leaving from a team, a program, coaching staff that really did stick by you. That's maybe when you really try to get down to the granular level, that is even more surprising.
Yeah, maybe. And to go where? Like, what are his options? Like, he doesn't have anything on film. Like, Micah Pittman has film. Micah Pittman has a history. Micah Pittman has a bunch of YouTube subscribers. Like, there's things that would make him appealing to your program, I guess, and the last name. It's pretty big in football circles. Travis Jay, man, what option do you have that's going to be better than Florida State? I just so yeah, I get, and they stuck by you. You're still here, like you made it all the way here to then leave after spring, after getting hurt. So he's hurt. We don't know what what the injury is or how bad it is, but he missed the last 10 days of spring practice and the spring game because of an injury. So yeah, the whole timing of it. You're right. Maybe that's as surprising as Micah Pittman. I just. It's so hard. It was always so hard to count on Travis Jay.
Right.
And now we don't have to worry about it anymore because he's not on the roster.
Our guy down in Naples, Mark, wake up. Hard to believe FSU's dog on defense wasn't drafted till the 5th round. Last year we had Jermaine. There should have been a parade in Tallahassee because it seems so long since a Nole was taken in the 1st round. But hey, Kane Doe and J-Rob got drafted the year before, so there's still hope. My question, do you think the Chargers got a steal with Pokey Wilson as an undrafted free agent and possibly the Niners getting a steal with Kalen Laburn as well? I keep thinking about the LSU game, critical touchdown catches that Pokey's made, the opening touchdown against Miami where he stretched out 100% to catch Jordan's pass. Yeah. That guy was pretty darned reliable, put up with a lot of change at FSU, never complained. I think he can excel at the next level. Also, I agree with Corey. NIL Collective should have legal remedies and liquidated damages through a contract if these newly minted athletes take a deal and just bail for another school. I don't have time for a legal opinion to draft right now, but that is just utter nonsense.
You tell him, Mark. That's from a legal mind, folks.
Yes.
That's from a lawyer.
Esquire.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so hard to speculate when it comes to undrafted free agents. Pokey has the speed. He has NFL speed for sure. He does not have NFL size, at least not the size you want out of an outside guy. Maybe they put him in the slot and he can find something there. I don't know. But, yeah, I think we should all, no matter what happens, appreciate the plays that Pokey made the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, he was a big part of a turnaround. He was not Johnny Wilson. He wasn't even Tamari and Terry. But he was a part of a turnaround and made some really big plays and stuck it out. And yeah, he's right. Never complained. Didn't get the ball thrown to a ton, but always seemed to make big plays in big moments.
Random _ John.
What was the other one? He asked for about he asked about Pokey, and who was the other one? Oh,
Kalen Laburn. Yeah.
I'm really interested in him. So he wasn't drafted either?
No, and he was like the second in the NCAA in rushing at some point last year. I don't know we'll see how it worked out here towards the end of the year, but
I think undrafted running backs probably have a better chance of making a roster and sticking and actually making an impact than wide receivers do. They usually get the wide receiver scouting right. But the running backs, because it's such a dime a dozen type position, and you're just looking for dudes that'll run hard until their tires are worn off. For 2 or 3 years, they'll just run hard and hit holes hard. I think he's got a chance to make a roster and hopefully have a good career.
Finished 10th in the country with 1,513 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. Yeah, he's also in a good position, too. San Francisco seemingly always has injuries at running back, unfortunately, but they seemingly always find some other guy to step up and bust off 100 yards and catch a touchdown. So he's in a really good spot. All right, random _ John bringing his joy and sunshine to the program. I've got a little brain teaser today. It's been bugging me. I'm just itching to get your thoughts. So picture this. FSU managed to snag a point guard that Kansas didn't even bother to challenge us for. Now I'm left scratching my head thinking, what did Kansas miss in this guy that FSU saw?
Is that the question?
I mean, I'll keep going. I guess that's a brain teaser. I don't really think it's a big of a brain teaser, but I guess maybe, it is for some folks. If you want to look at it that way, if you want to be a glass half empty guy, which you've been a really glass half empty guy for a while now, John. Let's work through this, man. Here's another curveball. When FSU brings in a new safety, which member of Corey's dubbed EAM Dream Team do you secretly hope gets bumped down to second string? I mean, there's got to be some feelings hurt, right? Let's get a good old sports debate going. Give us your 2 cents. Let's see if we can crack this point guard and safety mystery wide open. As always, go Noles.
Well, I think we talked about at least I meant to if I didn't. Kansas got a commitment on Friday from the point guard that they wanted more than Primo Spears. Like Primo Spears was I guess probably their backup in the transfer portal market. They got a kid that transferred in on Friday. I think it was Friday. Was
Nick Timberlake.
From where did he come from? He was the number 1 point guard in the United States coming out of high school, and I can't remember where he signed with. But after a year, he left that place. Maybe Arizona.
No.
And transferred to Florida State and transferred to Kansas.
Towson.
No way. Then you're thinking of it's somebody else.
All right,
they got somebody else. But anyway, so they got the number 1 point guard in the portal market. Their second guy that they offered that they would have gone after if this guy didn't commit was Primo Spears. But this guy did commit. So then but it's not that Kansas didn't offer him. Kansas did offer him, but they probably slow played him a little. And I'm sure Primo Spears slow played Florida State a little to see how it shook out with Kansas in the point guard situation. Because, I mean, let's be honest, he probably might have preferred to play in Lawrence, Kansas for a team that, is always really, really good. But when that option was taken off the table, Florida State was the next best option, and that's where he went. I think that had more to do with it than than Florida State out recruiting Kansas. Kansas got their number 1 target, and when that happened, Florida State became very attractive to Primo Spears.
I mean, he's the number 32 guy on the board. He's the highest ranked guy in the portal that Kansas got. So,
but he couldn't be from Towson University.
Yeah, man, he averaged 17 and 7. 17.7 points per game.
But I thought the guy they got was the number 1 overall point guard in the country coming out of high school. That played 1 year somewhere else and then transferred. But that's all right. You answer the second part. I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go look at something.
Second part. Who do I secretly hope gets bumped down to second string? I don't, man. I hope they both do well, man. They've been here. Shaheem's been here. Akeem's been here. I don't necessarily want to see them get passed over. And I don't know if a guy from Conference USA is going to be automatically better than those guys. But I don't necessarily wish to see. I'm not going into 2023 thinking, my gosh, we cannot go on the field with that guy playing safety. So I'm not there. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I guess, I don't know. I'll say Akeem, but Akeem's from South Florida, man. Represent. Did you find the guy, Corey?
No. We'll keep going. I'm gonna find him.
All right, I'm trying to look things up here. Let's coach up Corey a little bit here. Let's give him some good vibes. Samari Knoll, don't have a question. He just wants to pump you up, gas you up. Corey's practice player assessments over the past 2 years have been pleasantly honest and direct without poo-pooing on a kid. See that, John?
Good use of the poo-pooing, too. I like that.
I feel the need to take credit for it, the same way he gets credit for the turnaround with that infamous question he asked Norvell after the 0-4 start. If you recall, after Willie's firing, a poster asked why the reports out of Warchant distinctly were different about practice and players when Willie was here than right after he left. I remember Corey replying, yeah, we could have probably done a better job speaking to inefficiencies or other things we see around the program a bit going forward. It used to kill me to get those hopeful reports, then see the messes on Saturdays. So here's to Corey for upholding that promise by providing great color insight into what he is seeing from the team without giving trade secrets or compromising his trust with the coaching staff. However, he still lets us know what a real expectation could be. There you go.
Amen. Hey, I appreciate that. And I did. I made a conscious effort to do that because there were some things we didn't. Number one, we didn't get to watch a lot of Willie Taggart practices. I think we got to watch one in the spring and maybe one in August. Like, it wasn't like we were out there a lot. But when we were out there, it was more standing around, and because so much was made about the stupid music. And I'm not saying the music is stupid. Norvell plays music. It was so different than Jimbo's, the way Jimbo's practices felt. Because there was music played, and they did seem to be having fun, and they did do dance parties and practice celebrating touchdowns. They did stuff like that, but the reality, and so we would talk about that stuff, but the reality was that's not what hurt Florida State football, was all that stuff. What hurt, I mean, maybe it did to an extent, but more than anything, it was so much standing around and inefficiencies in practice. And, maybe coaches not doing what you'd want them to do at the level you'd want them to do it at the urgency that you'd want them to do it at. That all that stuff was stuff that, but it's like, we're all so excited about this new hire. It's not Jimbo, and more than anything, right, Aslan, I think I would have said something now looking back if we got to watch more practice.
Well, but also, it's Florida State. No one ever expected this place to suck this bad.
Well, right.
True. It doesn't matter. We're Florida State. We're going to be all right. This guy's okay. I mean, he didn't burn the places down he was at previously. He'll be okay. Yeah, there was a lot of benefit of the doubt extended to somebody that probably didn't deserve
correct.
it. So.
Correct. And there was. You're right about that's a good way to put it. But also, I think if we'd have seen more sample size of those practices and because it felt like, okay, am I just going to nitpick because I saw one practice where the team stood around? That doesn't mean they stand around all the time, right? I'm not out there. I don't know. But if I'd have been out there for a week straight and saw a lot of standing around, that might have.
And how critical can we really be of that Nole drill? Like, we showed it to you folks over and over. We kind of said we thought it was weird, but, hey, we didn't play ball, so we're not allowed to really criticize things that critically. I mean, you saw those drills. I mean, they were running into each other. Like, they lined up like human walls, and they were trying to get outside, and they were bumping to their teammate. And it was just you're blocking 20 yards downfield, which is never going to happen in a game. You're not going to be 20 yards downfield blocking, holding onto a block for 8 seconds while you're waiting for the guy to get to the third level. None of it made sense. None of it.
By the way, it's Arterio Morris. He committed to Texas last year. He was the number 1 point guard in the country. Number 19 player overall. He's the one that just committed to Kansas.
Okay.
So that when Arterio Morris committed, Arterio, when he committed to Kansas, that's what opened it up for Primo.
Okay. Thanks, Corey, for
I did it. I knew that wasn't the right name, but I couldn't figure out who it was, so I did it.
Think about me actually having to say out of my mouth the guy's name when I'm like, he played at Towson, and you were saying he was the number 1 overall player coming out of high school. I'm like, he wouldn't have been at Towson. But, that's...
You still did it. You still came out of your mouth.
Did. Rudder Butter, wake up. I need Corey to go way back in his memory bank. Aslan, you can give us the more millennial perspective of teams the last couple decades. Which former FSU team do you project this 2023 team to most resemble by the end of the season? High expectations, maybe playoff bound, but most are not assuming national title.
Okay.
Well, that eliminates my response. I was going to say maybe 2000 because there's high expectations. Now we were thinking national title, we're thinking back to back. But there were really high expectations. There was a slip up. There was a goof up early in the season there against Miami. And I was thinking, maybe you go on the road and you play your rival Clemson in September. Because I don't think that game was in September, I think, against Miami. I don't think that was in October. It was early in the year, I feel like.
It might have been early October. It was still very hot.
Yeah. So maybe, but then you still end up being able to finish the season strong because the second half of the schedule is going to be pretty darn manageable after the Clemson game again, that maybe you find yourself getting into that, not the BCS, but maybe the playoff, maybe the ACC championship game.
Yeah, I like that. I was thinking maybe what I was thinking of initially was 89, which you don't want to lose your first 2 games of the season like the 89 team did. But that 89 team had a senior quarterback who, I mean, he hadn't played nearly as much as Jordan Travis had, but Peter Tom Willis ended up having an incredible year. And after they lost those first 2 games, they caught fire and beat everyone and ended up number 2 in the country. They ended up beating the eventual national champions, Miami, that year. Miami still got to play for it and won it and blah, blah, blah. But Florida State beat the national champions in 1989. And I feel like maybe that could happen where you have a great quarterback, you have a great offense. Maybe you slip up early a couple of times, but by the end of the year, even if you don't make the championship game, people might talk about you as maybe the scariest team in the country if everything comes together. But in this day and age, everybody probably just say, "Oh, We lost to LSU and Clemson. Yeah. But you get a chance to play Clemson again, theoretically. So I would say that's where I'm leaning, is 89.
Okay, good one.
But I'd also like it to be 93, gang, or 99, or 13. Go ahead and win them all.
Could be 13, right? Like we had high expectations just because we kind of thought the thing was rolling along, and sure enough, we had this really exceptionally talented quarterback. Although there's no parallel between that.
Right.
But hey, they're 13th. They started the season off, I think, ranked 13th right in the preseason.
Yeah, I think so.
Florida State will probably be in the 10s. Shoot, they'll be inside the 10s. So yeah, no, 13 bad example. Sorry. Moving along, CT Carver. Wake up, guys. Long-time listener, first time asking a question. Lifelong Nole fan from the Show Me State. Vermont. Question. Missouri, right? Show Me State? Right?
Yeah. Yep.
With all the secondary players entering the portal, does it say anything about Patrick Surtain?
No. I think that's
coincidence.
I do, and I think it's more about playing time than them not getting along with their new position coach. I think it's not like starters bounced. It's what we'll know about Surtain, I think, is in the next 18 months how many guys are coming to Florida State because of him. I don't know that people are going to be leaving because of him. You hope that name, especially in South Florida, can resonate in recruiting. The name can resonate in the portal because his son is such a big deal and people know that he was an NFL player for a long time, that you hope people come to want to play for him. Losing Amarian Cooper and Travis Jay has more to do with where they were on the depth chart than who are they getting coached by, in my opinion. So, yeah, I wouldn't put any of that at Surtain's feet.
Who did we all lose besides Duke Cooper and Travis Jay?
Sidney Williams, I guess. Does that count?
Well,
that might have been before Surtain even got here. By the way, we talked about that on headlines too. He'd be a nice person to have, Sidney Williams. Hard hitter, played some football for you. I think he ended up committing to Missouri. But you could, as a backup,
Sticking to the Show Me State, look at that.
Yeah, exactly right. It all comes full circle. As a backup, Sidney Williams would be a nice person to have. More so, in my opinion, than either Jay or Cooper because he was more proven. But it doesn't matter because he's not here. So,
well, first off, Travis Jay played safety in Surtain's cornerbacks, and then Duke Cooper went to Colorado, where his former high school head coach is there now. So, those are the things that are maybe underneath the surface. But yeah, Patrick Surtain didn't run these guys off. And there's no way they're being coached by him and thinking, oh, I don't want to play for this guy because he knows his stuff. He commands respect. So thanks for the question, though, and stand up, Missouri. Kyle, get down or lay down. Wake up. I've asked this before and gotten gold, so I'm going to ask it again.
Oh, boy.
If you could steal one player from any opponent on this year's schedule, who would it be and why?
The linebacker from LSU.
Oh, Harold Perkins, yeah.
There's no other. Don't even bother thinking about anybody else. Are you kidding me? I'm going to go look up his stats, everyone. You could try to come up with someone else, Aslan. Go for it.
No. I was only going to just like be generic and say, like whoever the best safety is on whatever team we're playing. I don't even know who's got the best safety on our schedule, but maybe them. Harold Perkins is just a bad man. Way to be, Corey. I think that right off the hoof. Let me see what he graded out as you're looking up his stats. He graded out at 77.2, which some might, scoff at, but as like a true freshman. So
he had as a true freshman, he had 72 tackles. He only started 8 games. 72 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 interception.
41 pressures. He didn't even play against us.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is weird.
That's the guy.
Yeah. I'm the guy.
Who's even number? Like he shouldn't even count. Who's number 2? Because he shouldn't even count. Who's number 2 on that question? That's what I'm trying to think about right now.
I was about to say we don't have NC State on, and I think their kicker left anyways. I don't know. Does somebody have like an ice cold kicker on their team?
Probably.
Maybe we could use that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the guy that minimizes linebacker play like that because I think if you get those guys, if you don't have those guys, everybody else to me is just another guy. When it comes to linebacker, like that guy is special. I don't know how many other special guys. I mean, there's Will Andersons of the world, But then everybody else is just like good linebacker. So if you just have good linebackers, you're pretty all right. Way to go, Corey. Way to crush that one.
Yeah, I nailed it.
Flynn, wake up. Why can't they move Christian Smoke White over to safety? He might have been the king of the spring. Yeah, why not? They 37.
Absolutely, yeah. We love that guy. Hey, we are stands for him, man. So yeah, maybe maybe they'll move him to safety and see if he can make a name for himself.
Maybe you can ask Coach. Aren't you going to see him later this week?
That's right. I'll ask him. If they've thought about moving. I probably won't use Christian White's name necessarily, but I might ask if they've thought about moving, doing it again, where they try to move a corner to a safety.
Yeah. Tennis Umps, our guy Dave out there in Birmingham. Wake up. Do you guys feel that we will have a 1,000-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard receiver this year? I do. Trey Benson, Johnny Wilson. I feel that the increase of talent in the tight end room will be a huge factor in this happening. Thanks as always. Let me get back to my DeLuna coffee now. Thanks, Dave.
I do. Health withstanding. Yes.
Both.
I think they're both getting there. I think what Johnny did in the bowl game, combined with what he did in the spring, and look, man, he should have had 140 yards against Florida.
Gosh, he had 897. I didn't think he had that much. We had 43 for 897 last year.
But there were some games where he had one catch. And I just don't think that will be the play this year. I think they tried to get more guys involved last year. He was also a little slowed by ankle injury. I think if he's healthy, he's going to get 5 or 6 or 8 targets a game, no matter if they're winning by 28 points or not. They're not going to try to play the young guys as much. Make sure Malik McLean's on the field or something like that. I think Johnny Wilson's going to get more reps than he did last year. And I think what does that even mean? So for him to get to 1,000 is what, 6 more catches, 5 more catches?
Yeah, it was averaging 20 yards. He averaged 20 yards a carry, so yeah, or 20 yards a catch. Sorry.
So 5 more catches and he's there. So yeah, I think I almost think that's more of a sure thing than Benson.
Ooh,
just saying that.
I'm there with you. Granted, though, to your point, though, he was targeted. The games that he wasn't targeted in, though, were mainly games they were running away from teams in. Like Duquesne, he had 2 targets. Miami, 2 targets. Syracuse, 2 targets. Not targeted at all against Lafayette. But like Clemson, he was targeted 11 times. Oklahoma, 10. Florida, 7. Wake, 9. So like Louisville, 9. So when they were in dogfights, they were going to him. Just they weren't in a lot of dogfights last year. They were just thumping folks. And that's why my initial reaction was it's going to kind of play out largely the way it did last year. But I think he brings in a few more that he dropped last year. And he was at 897 last year. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give him that. I see a 103-yard increase. I'll give him that. I like it, though, Corey, that you say he's going to you think that that's more likely than the running back. Because at first that sounds ridiculous, but the more you think about it, they got a crowded backfield. They got a lot of guys. We haven't talked about Keziah Holmes a lot this spring. Rodney Hill obviously stepping in for Trayshawn Ward. Lawrence Feely, C.J. Campbell. I did all the archiving of the video, Corey. You'd be surprised how much freaking footage I have of C.J. Campbell. So use him, Mike, because I have all this footage of him. Otherwise, it all went to waste. Corey, we did pretty good the other day, so let's bring some more joy to folks. You can get joy in the form of a cash deposit bonus over at mybookie.ag when you use the promo code WARCHANT. Sign up for your first time. Use the promo code WARCHANT. Instant cash deposit bonus. They're doing it again, Corey. The Celtics giving out 10 points to the 76ers as we talk right now. We do not know the stats of Joel Embiid. And also, Game 3 between the Nuggets and Suns will be a 4-point spread between those two. Suns favored by 4 at home. I'm gonna take the Suns at home to win by 4. Backs of the wall. I feel better about that one.
I think both these games are blowouts.
Ooh.
I've watched enough NBA basketball to know the Sixers. Number one, I don't think Embiid will play because they already stole a game without him. Yeah. So rest them some more and get them ready for basically a best of 5 where you get 3 of the home games. But yeah, I think that the Sixers know they got their one already. So they're going to be fat and happy with that. And the Celtics might win by 30 points. And then the Suns are not going to go – they are not going to get swept. So I do think they're going to win that game, and I think Game 4 is what will determine the series in that one. But yeah, so I think both those games will be double-digit games.
Boom, there we go. MyBookie.ag. Again, use that promo code WARCHANT. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, including the Kentucky Derby this weekend over at MyBookie.ag. Winding things down here. We're near the finish line. My truth, wake up. Norvell's offense relies on matchups, playmakers, counting hats, attacking what the defense gives you. All defenses want is to take away their opponent's strength and make them play to their weaknesses. What's the strategy for stopping this offense?
Yeah, you stop the run. I think that's number one because they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to be good at it, but that's the problem. How do you do that?
That's what Oklahoma did.
But even if you can do that, okay, you're going to give up 400 yards passing. I mean, because it's not just that it's hard to focus on stopping the run and still double covering number 14. You just don't have that many bodies. So if Johnny Wilson's just getting man-to-man coverage, that's going to be a problem. But also, Jaheim Bell is a problem in the middle of the field. The way they run tight end screens, the Toafili is a problem. The way they utilize the running backs and the tight ends in the passing game to kind of, if somebody is dead set on taking the running game away, that's a really good counteract to it that they do really well. And I just think it's going to be really hard. You're going to have to pick what you want to give up and just hope you can stop them in the red zone because they are going to move the ball between the 20s. They're going to get a lot of yards and a lot of first downs. You just can't stop them. You can maybe slow them down a little bit. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 teams on the schedule that have any shot at all of even slowing them down. And nobody's going to stop them. There's just too many weapons, and the quarterback's too good. The quarterback sees it all, man. And it's not just he sees patterns opening up. He sees the safeties. He knows where the open receiver is going to be. He sees the defense before the snap and knows whether to switch the call or not. Like, he just sees it at a level that, man, when you get a quarterback that is operating like that and is that efficient to go along with being supremely talented, it's a tough deal.
Well said. Yeah, I don't know.
Thanks, buddy.
Pull the fire alarm at the hotel when they're visiting your town and do a rain dance. Hope that's just really gross weather. I mean, it correlated out pretty well. I mean, the only defense that gave them trouble was really NC State for like 60 minutes. I mean, Clemson put the clamps down for 2.5 quarters and then I think let off the gas. You folks don't. You think that Jordan's talent finally shone through. We'll agree to disagree on that. I just don't know how many teams can play that kind of disguising defense that NC State does. Not that they're supremely talented, but they just execute Tony Gibson's defense so well that when Jordan doesn't see it pre-snap correctly and he's surprised, like that's what knocks him off his game. Not a lot of defense that they're going to go up against have that capability because you need to be really, really talented to be able to do all these false disguises, fake your blitzes, bring pressures from different areas because – as a defense, you want to be set. You don't want to be creeping up to the line of scrimmage and then having to back up and backpedal and fake off of a blitz. I think Duke is a sneaky game to me because I think like Mike Elko will figure out some way to confuse this offense for maybe a quarter and a half. But it's not for an entire game, and I don't think Duke's offense is explosive enough to put Florida State in real danger.
And also
maybe
the
Narduzzi
beauty
and Pitt can do something a little crazy, but like it's going to be someone's got to scheme something up really unique that's going to confuse the heck out of Jordan pre-snap so that he is not seeing what he's expecting when he drops back in the pocket.
Yeah, and I think with Duke, when you bring him up specifically, he's a good defensive mind, but they might just get manhandled. It might not matter.
Yeah.
That Florida State is to the point now where they don't just have to out-scheme you to score. You can know what's coming, i.e. Miami.
Yeah.
And they're going to run the same play over and over again, and you just can't stop it because they're bigger and better than you. And there's a chance that happens at the line of scrimmage too.
NoleFan624, wake up. Let's suppose suddenly there's an opening in the schedule. If you could schedule either a home-and-home for this year and 2024 or one single neutral site match against any team for 2023, who would it be and why? And where, if you go with the neutral site. I feel like if it were me, I would lean towards a neutral site game just for the travel and maybe go up against Ohio State or Penn State or perhaps rematch Auburn 10 years later here over in Pasadena again. Thanks for all the great insights and coverage. Can't imagine how disconnected and uninformed I would be come football season if I didn't get to listen to you guys every morning taking the kids to school. Go Noles.
Amen. Amen. That's what we do. We keep you connected. That's what we're trying to do here.
I'll go home and home, Ole Miss. I want to go play in Oxford, man. I want you folks to experience the Grove. It's Ireland's going to be awesome. The Grove is awesome. I know the Grove is awesome. The Grove, right. Yes, please, Ole Miss.
But I'm also trying to think of this year in the terms of what you're trying to accomplish. You don't want Ohio State to kill your chances of a playoff. Or, so I don't want a big-time school. I don't want to. I shouldn't say that. Ole Miss would be perfect. You should be able to beat Ole Miss. I don't want a powerhouse school.
Come on, Bobby's listening to this up in the heavens, man. Anytime, anywhere, anybody. Come on, Corey.
No, not this year. So I would say Southern Miss back in
New Orleans, neutral site.
No,
New Orleans.
Shreveport. Back to Shreveport. 6-year anniversary of the Independence Bowl, whatever it's called now, in Shreveport. What is it called? It's the Cajun place, right? Walk-ons?
Yeah, walk-ons.
It's
the
walk-ons thing?
Yeah.
It was anyway. So, yeah, that's where I'd take Southern Miss and Shreveport.
It was the Duck Commander Independence Bowl there for a minute. Remember that?
I remember it was the Poland Weed Eater Independence Bowl before that.
Arthur Dane. Remember when Bill Miller was our linebackers coach?
Yep.
It's just a reminder, everybody, things could be worse.
Hey, I remember when Billy Napier was the running backs coach for, I think, 9 minutes.
Did he go to Clemson or Alabama?
Alabama. Yeah.
That was weird. If I set first-round picks for the 2024 NFL entry draft at 2.5, over/under.
For first-round picks?
Yeah, he says over. He's got Verse, Fabian, and Johnny.
I don't see it with Fabian. That's why I'd say under. I think Verse is likely. I think Johnny is possible, maybe even probable. I would say Verse is highly likely. I would say I would if we did it like sort of like injury reports.
Yes.
He's highly likely.
Probable.
I think Johnny is probable or possible. Maybe possible. Probably possible. And then that's it.
What injury reports are you looking at that's got highly likely on it?
I know, man. That's why I was just trying to come up with like a gauge, like, questionable, unlikely, likely. So I think likely for Verse, almost definite for Verse if he stays healthy, because he's just a freak, folks. And then Johnny Wilson is, I don't know, man. I mean, there is a chance, right, that he's likely a first-round pick. Like, obviously, if he plays like he did against Oklahoma every game, I mean, I know he's not going to have 200 yards every game, but if he catches everything thrown at him, has about 10 or 11 touchdowns, I mean, there aren't 6'7" dudes that run like that just growing on trees. He makes tough catches, which in the NFL, that's all they do. They all make all those guys are making back shoulder catches 21 yards downfield, are getting separation. He
had 23 contested targets, 12 catches for a 52% contested catch rate.
Okay, is that good?
No.
Is it not? I feel like a contested catch rate for better than half is pretty good.
I mean, maybe with those numbers, but I think Pokey had like 70%. But he only had like 4 though.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say they throw it up a lot more to Johnny when he's covered, for good reason.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Those two are the most likely, right? Like again, out of the group.
Dude, I think Jeremiah Byers. Byers is a dancing bear. I think if this is a really good offense and he does really well at right tackle, I think he's a guy that they look at with like supreme athleticism and just one of the top guys you want protecting your quarterback. They're going to take Caleb. They got 2 first-round picks, whoever the team is. That's horrible. They select Caleb Williams first overall, and then they get Jeremiah Byers at 27 or something like that. So
how cool would it be? And again, this is pie in the sky, outlandish, had no real reason to even say something like this out loud. If Shaheem Brown was the third guy.
Man, you keep bringing his name up in this sort of stuff.
I'm just saying, if he could take that leap to be like a that dude, special, elite, what that would mean for this defense. That's all I'm saying. It's not there yet. We haven't seen it. But we've seen little glimpses of it. And he's certainly got the attitude. He's got speed. He's got physicality. If he can put it all together, and a lot of people do their third years. That's when it happens for a lot of guys. Yeah. Again, I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying that would be such a big deal if he was if he ended up becoming a all ACC, all American type safety.
It's not quite to the level of Johnny Wilson where, like, when he's on the field, you're like, what in the hell is going on out here? But, man, Shyheim is really – he's bigger than 6'2", whatever he's listed as. The way he moves, when you're like, that's a safety, like he's got a little bit of that. So, again, not like the Johnny jaw drop, but you're like, what? You got to get rid of 38, though, Shyheim. Get something else. That's not a strong number.
That's a good call. That's a really good call, Aslan. That's the thing that's holding him back more than anything.
Yeah,
nobody wears 38. That was Paul McGowan did. Great Dick Butkus award-winning linebacker at Florida State, but he was 38's not really a number that you put on a DB.
No.
Yeah, he needs to be like number.
Imagine if he had Akeem's 1. If he had Akeem's 1, you'd be like, ooh.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind number 9. I think number 9 at safety is a cool look, too. So
right.
Single digit for sure, though, right?
I can see like a Pat Watkins 22 on our guy.
Or an 11.
Okay, yeah.
Little Devin Bush.
Yeah. All right, 2 more. Mathis Jones. He's a long-time Warchant member. He is. First-time question. Welcome.
All right,
Man,
Mathis.
he's been around. So this is his stats just for On 3. He's posted 1,373 times.
Just in the last 9 months.
Yeah, man.
Okay, Mathis.
Yeah, dude. So, wow. We're
not real efficient, but I bet there's been some good posts in there now.
Yeah, honored.
A lot of volume.
I didn't know he's listened to the show. Awesome. All right. Hometown, Hastings, Nebraska, home of Tom Osborne. Bill Parcells also got his coaching start as a linebackers coach at Hastings College in 1964. Go Bronx.
Oh, and there you go. And he was quickly at Florida State.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if he went from Hastings to Florida State because he was on that staff a couple years later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also where Kool-Aid was invented. Get it? Oh, yeah.
No lie, really.
I guess so. We'll take him at his word.
I don't believe that. He's just making that up because who's going to check?
We seem to have quite the good problem right now at offensive line, figuring out the top 5. It sounds like Bless Harris has stepped up at left tackle while Robert Scott's been out, and Byers practiced at right tackle. Are these 3 guys all going to start? And if so, which would you move inside? He also has a question about defensive backs. Opposite situation, limited depth, but we have 7 guys I feel good about. Renardo, Fentrell, Greedy, Jarian, Akeem, Shyheim, Azarie. Will the rotation be comprised of those 7 guys for the first month of the season, regardless of where they actually are on the field? I think we'll add at least 1 safety to that group. All right, I don't think all 3 of those guys start on the offense. I think.
What were the 3 again? I was looking up Bill Parcells.
Oh, well, why not the Kool-Aid?
Well, I'll look that up next.
Okay.
But so he did start at Hastings in 64, then Wichita State at 65. He was at Army from 66 to 69, and then went to Florida State in 70.
Oh, yeah.
So Florida State was actually his 4th college job.
Nice. Bless, Robert Scott, Jeremiah Byers, will all 3 start?
No, I don't think so. I would move, because we were talking about this again on Headlines. Folks, go listen to it. Great show. I keep bringing it up. Bless had a nice spring, and I just think Byers, he could be a decent right tackle. I think he could be a really good guard. Like, he's just got, like you talked about, you called him a dancing bear. He moves so well for that size. And he just seems to have more of a guard-type frame that maybe Bless is your right tackle, Scott is your left tackle, and Jeremiah Byers is your guard, one of your guards.
Well, then who gets fired, Demetri Emanuel or Casey Roddick?
Probably Roddick. But Roddick is also competing at center and needs to practice snapping a football a lot between now and August, like literally every day for 30 minutes a day. But isn't that the beauty, though, Aslan? Like, and Robert Scott's not just an absolute slam dunk to start. Like, maybe he gets moved or fired. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I also wouldn't bet against Maurice Smith, because why would you at this point? Yeah. But Roddick will challenge him. And Byers and Roddick will challenge each other. And Byers will challenge Bless Harris. So it's a great spot to be in. Keandre Jones is challenging folks. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so cool to have this kind of competition where Maurice Smith is a 3-year starter and played pretty well at times. And he is not guaranteed to start in 2023, even if he's fully healthy. But, yeah, and Emmanuel, too. Like, I think Emmanuel's probably going to play, but I don't know, man. I would have thought when they brought Byers in here, I know he played tackle at UTEP.
I mean, bro, he's played 1,988 snaps at UTEP. Every single one of them was at right tackle.
But think about, and I hear you, but I always remember Cam Irving and how he he became a center and then was drafted in the first round because of what he did in center for 5 games. Like he might just be a better fit for his position. Like he was clearly the most athletic, best lineman they had at UTEP, so they had to put him at tackle. That's where he was big and could move. But Florida State's got a few of those guys. I don't know if they got. I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? But but with that in mind, I do think they, for whatever, I shouldn't say for whatever reason, he's played tackle. He came here as a tackle. I would think about cross-training him at guard more. But clearly they like Byers at tackle. And Bless Harris and Robert Scott are tackles. So with that thought, no, not all 3 of them will start.
I think, again, I think from your left tackle is up in the air right now. Yeah, I think it's between Bless and Robert Scott. Now, was Bless's spring good enough to wipe clean the equity I think that Robert Scott has with his coaching staff? No, but they also realize just how important this season is. They're not going to play favorites. But, man, if it's a tie, Robert Scott wins, man. A tie goes to the runner. Tie's going to go to Robert Scott on this. Like, Bless Harris is going to have to knock him out. Like, Bless Harris is going to have to look so considerably better, I think, than Robert Scott to start left tackle. Because I think you go Demetri Emanuel at one guard, Maurice is your center, Roddick at your other guard spot, and I think you keep Jeremiah Byers at right tackle too. So, but again, good problem to have. Look at us. And then, yeah, those 7 guys, is that your secondary? You think Renardo, Fentrell, Greedy, Jarian, Akeem, Shaim, and Azarie?
Is there anyone that I'm not? That's a lot of names thrown at me.
I know. I'm sorry.
We're thinking of? I don't think so.
No, I mean, because Kevin Noles is going to be gone out until the middle of the season. I think he said on Micah's vlog, which you all can check out over on YouTube.
So I would say
Quindarius is a guy that, I mean, I don't want to say is Quindarius ahead of Azarie, but is
no, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. But I think he's right too that they're going to get another safety in the portal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
By the way, so Kool-Aid was invented by Edwin Perkins in Hastings.
Let's go.
Hastings, Nebraska, man. Who knew? All of his experiments took place in his mother's kitchen.
Oh,
so, and he moved his production to Chicago in 1931. It started in 27, but he moved it in 1931 and then sold it to General Foods in 1953. All right. Hastings still celebrates a yearly summer festival called Kool-Aid Days on the second weekend in August.
Huh.
How about that?
You know, when you say it that way, like you just list those 7 guys, like that's not that bad. And then they're going to add a safety in the portal. Like that'll be all right.
Okay.
But then I don't know when you put the pieces on the table though, like you're like, all right, these guys got to do this, and it's like, well, you know, we'll see how it goes with the safety. And again, they're bringing Jalen Key for an official visit. Check out the live recruiting chat. Actually, not live recruiting chat. We're doing a live show tomorrow, or today, rather, as you're listening at 6 o'clock, everybody. Last one, Corey, personal question. Hugo Boss. Since we're now truly entering the offseason with little to no college football activity, who are you kidding, man? There's always something going on. What do you guys find yourselves gravitating towards during the offseason? Since FSU baseball leaves much to be desired right now, I've personally been enjoying watching the NBA playoffs. The Heat and Jimmy Butler have been awesome to watch. As always, thanks for all the content and work you guys do.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, Corey. We've been calling it the NBA payoffs over here because all the money we keep making. But yeah, I've been watching. Brother. Yeah, the Lakers are back in it, so I've been watching it pretty much every single night. And I like it.
It's awesome. It's great. It's great content, man. Like
and
I was thinking
TNT.
about that on Monday night. They had the Sixers and the Celtics came down to the wire. Yep. The Suns and the Nuggets played right after that till midnight or 12:30. It's like, man, yeah, this is and they go on for months. And it's the best players in the world doing incredible things. So yeah, man, the NBA playoffs is, and also Major League Baseball.
And the best studio show ever as well is what makes it great too.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, well, you don't like Ernie and the guys? Come on.
I love Ernie.
I
don't know why Shaq. I liked it more without Shaq. Yeah, I don't know that he adds the value that they think he adds. I think Kenny and Charlie were great. Chuck. I call him Charlie. Him Charlie. Right. Most people call him Chuck. I call him Charlie. Charlie Barkley. That just rolls off the tongue. I used to love them when it was those 3. I have not been as big a fan since they added Shaq, but that's just me.
Fair enough. All right, that's a wrap for us. We'll be back live tonight, 6 p.m. on YouTube. So pull up a chair, join us. It'll be fun. In the meantime, though, the Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 o'clock. And as always, all times, all days, you can always go over to warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Hit the thumbs up. Give us a 5-star rating review if you don't mind. We certainly would appreciate it. He's Corey. I am Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.